Welcome back to Dr. Kewe TV, great people. Today, I'll be talking about all the steps I would take if I were in the shoes of someone who wanted to get the healthcare visa to immigrate from Africa or Asia, as the case may be, or anywhere in the world. There's been a lot of information spreading around about the different processes you can take, and it's no longer news that the UK government, in partnership with the Home Office and the Department of Health, have come up with a new job role section in what they call the occupational job shortage, and that new role is the senior care worker role. Now, this role means that, you know, if you're a doctor and you've not sorted out your PLAB exams, or if you're a nurse and you've not sorted out your NMC exams, or if you're an allied healthcare worker or someone who's had quite some experience in taking care of people, elderly people, you know, challenged people of different kinds, you can then apply. Even if you don't have an original healthcare background, you can apply to work in this role, and the company that you eventually get the job with can sponsor your immigration into the UK. Now, I found out that a lot of my friends have been asking me from different fronts what to do about, you know, in terms of how to be able to go about getting this visa. So I thought I'll do this video just to explain everything I would do if I were in the shoes of someone who wanted to get this visa and come over to start working in the UK, either as a senior healthcare worker, or there's also the role for support workers, so clinical support workers, and then there's also the role for healthcare assistants. These are the three potential positions that people can get. Even before the UK government came out with these new categories, apparently there's been role for healthcare managers, you know, in the occupational job shortage. And when I mean occupational job shortage, this is a particular list by the UK Home Office where they have different job roles that they're struggling to fill from people who live here, who are British, or who are members of the European Economic Union. So stay with me, don't go nowhere, and when I come back, I will be listing everything I would do if I were in the shoes of someone who needed to get a healthcare visa to immigrate to the UK. For those who don't know me, my name is Dr. Kewe, and I'm the anchor of Dr. Kewe TV. Thank you for everyone who's subscribed, everyone who's watched our previous episodes up until now. The support has been huge. We're trying to get to the 1K mark subscribers so that we can begin to do things more actively, and I would urge anyone who's watching this video who hasn't subscribed to click on that subscribe button, and also click on the alert bell so that every time we pop up content, you can be the first to know. Now, if, for example, I'm from Nigeria originally, yeah? If, for example, I was still in Nigeria, I'm a medical doctor by background, and perhaps if I had not written my exams, or if I read something like education, you know, or I read something like you know, even engineering, economic, you know, commercial courses, whatever you've read. And for example, there's some people who like to volunteer in hospitals or health outreaches. There's some people who like to volunteer in elderly people's homes, which is more common back in where I come from, or even orphanages. You get what I mean? If you've had any of those experiences and you feel like you're not satisfied with what you're doing currently in your home country, then this visa is for you. And what are the steps I would take if I were in your shoes to apply for this visa? First of all, just because for many of us English is not our first language, unlike the English people here in England, they want to be sure that, you know, you're able to communicate. So that's where your proof of English comes in. So number one, you have to show evidence of your proof of English. And what are the avenues of showing evidence of your proof of English. The first one and the most popular one is the IELTS, and I usually advise people that if you're doing the IELTS, it's best to do the UK Visa and Immigration IELTS, because after you use that one to to meet the requirement for your initial employment process or your qualification exam, then you can use the same UK Visa and Immigration IELTS to also go for the visa and immigration process. So that's like using one stone to kill two birds. And I've done a few videos on IELTS, so after this video you can scroll back and have a look to try and understand what the exam is all about. Now, for those who have tried IELTS severally and you've not been able to be successful, especially medical people, because this is a healthcare related visa, there's what they call the OET. It's I've not done personal research about that exam a lot, but it's kind of like the IELTS, but it talks about it's all about medical terminology, but still trying to assess your communication and make sure that when you come here you'll be able to communicate with your patient, you'll be able to communicate with your colleagues. So if IELTS is not for you, you can look up the OET, and a lot of people that I know have been successful at the OET, usually with the first go, even after trying IELTS several times. So OET is the second option. The third option is what they used to call UK NARIC. So a lot of us who schooled in places like Nigeria, Ghana, India, Pakistan, a lot of us were actually trained in English, and what UK NARIC would usually do will be to verify your results. So you kind of like write to your school, and there's a process all around it. Now, UK NARIC has been taken over by a new company called the UK National Information Centre. So the UK National Information Centre is now responsible for verification of results, just to show that your university degree was in English language. By so doing, you don't have to bother to take IELTS, or you don't have to bother to take OET. It's a bit of a process. If you've done result verification before, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you know where you want to go to and you don't want to bother yourselves about taking any new English language exams, then you can go through the National Information Centre, which is now the body that has taken over from what UK NARIC used to do. Also recently found out that the UK National Information Centre are also the people responsible for verifying results for candidates who've done their masters here in the UK. Because if you did your masters at some point here in the UK, then you don't have to write any of the English languages, any of the English confirmation exams that I've talked about, but you have to verify your results. The National Information Centre has to verify that you did masters here in the UK at some point, and that's kind of like makes you scale through that language confirmation, proof of English. So proof of English is the first step. After proof of English, what next? After I've confirmed everything I need to confirm about proof of English, I went for the IELTS. I did the IELTS to be able to qualify to write my PLAB exams and all of that. And I usually advise people that I think it's best to just go for the IELTS, because I don't like anything that ties me down, like going back to my university to try and get results and all of that. It's kind of like long thing, as we call it in Nigeria. So I went straight for the IELTS, and luckily I was successful. After proof of English, what will I be doing next? Next will be to look for genuine agents or care companies themselves that are calling out for employment. Not only calling out for employment, but companies who have the who are able to sponsor what they call COS. certificate of sponsorship. Now, the certificate of sponsorship is kind of like a particular document that the Home Office issues to companies to be able to issue to their people who they want to employ, their new employees, usually immigrants. So what I will be doing next will be to look out for employment opportunities from companies who are able to offer certificate of sponsorship. Now, your proof of English is one of the requirements for the certificate of sponsorship, and that's why you had to start with the proof of English, right? So in terms of companies that can offer certificate of sponsorship, there's a few of them. I don't know them off heart, but I've realized that there's a lot of fraud going around. Some people are not fraud, they're genuine, but they're collecting money from you. Ideally, a genuine company shouldn't collect money from you. If they are the NHS themselves, the National Health Service, they wouldn't ask you for any money. The first money you will be paying will be when you are paying for your visa fee to go to the embassy. Some companies actually pay you relocation fee. So if you have a company who's going to pay you relocation fee after you pass that interview process, why do you need to go and start gathering £5,000 that you do not have to pay another company? So people have to be very, very careful. If I were in your position, and this is what I did to become a doctor here, I actually came in through an agency. So if I were in your position, I will look out for genuine sources, genuine companies that are able to sponsor, someone who's looking for immigration sponsorship via the certificate of sponsorship. Okay, there's a couple of them out there. You need to throw a few applications out. Don't be discouraged, but after you throw a few applications out, just because there's a lot of jobs out there, there's a shortage. Some people have quoted over 50,000 opportunities to be filled, in this particular category. Throw your applications out there to the right people. Stop communicating with people who ask you to pay money. Go for the people who are genuine, and I'm sure that you will get email responses if you've sorted your CV right. Today I will not be talking about CV. There's a couple of YouTube videos out there where different YouTubers have talked about how to upgrade your CV and all of that. So I'm assuming that you've come across those content. But if I were in your shoe, I would be looking for a genuine company that can sponsor my immigration. After you get an employment offer, then they issue you what they call the certificate of sponsorship, and then with that you can then apply to from wherever country you're coming. You can then apply to the UK visa and immigration for a work visa. It's usually the tier 2, and to get the tier 2 there's a few requirements. You have to do chest x-ray if you're coming from Nigeria, just to make sure that you do not have tuberculosis, because in some of these countries tuberculosis is endemic. You also have to do police clearance, just to make sure that you've not been in any trouble and you're worthy to come and work as a hard-working contributor to the new economy that you're coming to. So those are some of the requirements for the tier 2 visa. Usually they do not bother about bank statements, just because the company that wants to employ you would have filled in to get the certificate of sponsorship that they're going to be your sponsor for the first month until you get the job. So you necessarily don't need to worry about statement of account. But for those who already have some money, you can also declare statement of account that when you come here you're able to take care of yourself, you're able to sort out accommodation at least for the first month until you get your first salary. So if I were you, these are the steps I would take. First of all, just to recap, proof of English through the various methods I mentioned, and then after that you start looking for a genuine company that is going to sponsor you. Most of them will kind of like, if they like what they see in your curriculum vitae, then they email you, they organize an interview, usually via Zoom or Teams, Microsoft Teams, or via Skype. And there's a few things you can always reach me, drop comments to ask your questions, more specific questions that I can either then answer in the comments or do new videos to answer your questions on this particular topics where you want me to throw more light. But I'm not going to be able to talk everything today, if you get what I mean. So you get a good company. They're happy with your previous experience, they're happy with your CV, and they're happy with your proof of English. Then they call you for an interview, they interview you and you smash it, then they offer you the job. Okay, now when they offer you the job, there's different things to consider in terms of salary and all that, but I would say don't worry much about that. You're just trying to come in. When you come into the system, you can then get your first job, get more experience, and then you begin to talk of more things for someone who stayed here. By next year August, I'm going to be 5 years in the UK, so I kind of like have an experience. But I'm telling you that don't really bother about initially what happens when you're coming in. Don't bother about that too much. You don't want to be taken advantage of, but just keep that at the back burner. All right, after you get the job, you go to the embassy, and then the visa is usually straightforward. Make sure you fill your visa application correctly, because with the UK visa and immigration, if you have typos there, sometimes if you're unlucky, then they're going to deny you that visa. You have to apply again and correct that typo, and then you get the visa. So take your time, fill your visa application. You already have your certificate of sponsorship, and then next thing, voila, you're in the UK. Easier said than done, but trust me, if you don't do it today, people are going to do it, and people are doing it. People are not going to stop doing it, so you have to do it. I know it's difficult to get up. That initial inertia is really there, but you just have to move. Now, one last thing I would like to say is that the process sometimes can take a couple of thousands of pounds, okay, in terms of your visa application, tickets, trying to sort out where to stay. Now, if you wait to get £5,000 before you start this journey, you're not going to go anywhere. Okay, you have to pick it in pieces. Some people have sponsorship, they're able to get money, so they don't have problem. But if you don't have sponsorship and you're waiting to get £5,000 in bulk, or you're asking people who live abroad to borrow you £5,000, you're not going to go anywhere. When I started, I got my money for IELTS examination, 100 and something thousand, paid that off, prepared for the exam, passed it, continued working, continued my hustle, and then got to the next step. I wasn't sure where the money was going to come from, but somehow was able to rack it together. Sometimes you borrow, and sometimes friends can say, for example, my GMC registration, I actually borrowed from a friend who helped me pay approximately £400 at that time, and then when I got here, I started paying back. I paid back. You get what I mean? So there's things like that you can do, but if you wait for the bulk, you will never go anywhere. That is all I have to say concerning this topic. If I were in your shoes, this is what I will do to get a work immigration visa to come to the UK to work either as a senior care worker, a healthcare assistant, or a social support worker. Thanks for watching again. Always keep a date with us. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please ensure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.